Software engineering is a very rewarding career, but it's not always rainbows and butterflies, and we know that. But today, I'm going to be talking about 3 harsh truths that nobody will tell you up front about software engineering. And if you watch to the end of this video, then this video may save you a ton of frustration. So let's go ahead and dive in. If you're new to the channel, my name is Zazo. I've been coding for over 10 years, and I've held various positions in the tech industry. Positions like software quality assurance engineer, software engineer, data engineer, data analytics, and I've also dabbled in some data science and machine learning as well. So first harsh truth is that you are never done learning. So for some people like myself, this is very exciting to always learn new things, but even for someone like myself, it is also a very daunting thing to really be an expert or a resource for a certain technology, framework, or language, and then it becomes obsolete, and then you have to essentially go back and start from the beginning and learn a whole nother thing. So this can be very daunting for a lot of people, even people that do like to learn. So you just think about things like COBOL. Back when that was, popular, bunch of COBOL developers, right? Because that was the hot new thing. However, as things started to get better, that kind of gets left behind if you don't adapt with the changes. So not saying there aren't COBOL developers, there's not positions for it, but what I am saying is you really limit your potential or potential of getting hired if you do things like this and you don't continue to learn. So this can be very daunting for a lot of people, but it is one of the things that you will not really know up front. Most people will not tell you that you're going to be constantly learning, and I mean constantly learning day to day, not just over 1 year to 2 years. Day to week to month, you will be jumping from different things and handling different things depending on where you work, and how advanced their technology is will determine how fast you're moving as well. The second hard truth is that in software engineering, we love making things, we love building things. That's kind of the whole, excitement of this field, is building things. Sad to tell you, the hard truth is that you will probably be debugging more than actually building, and that will consume majority of your time. I remember one time I was building, I said this is kind of why I hate front end, but it's not really why I hate front end. But I was learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and if you know, right? If you miss anything in any of those things don't they don't give you error messages, kind of like an interpreted or compiled language or anything like that. It will just not work. Your page will simply just be blank for whatever reason is unknown. Obviously, this was closer to 10 years ago, so a lot less, ChatGPT right now. If I put that in the ChatGPT, it would tell me what's missing, right? But in that time, I would literally have to go and look through, make sure I had closing tags, opening tags, backslashes were where they needed to go, and everything was according to how it should be structured. Stack Overflow and those types of things were resources. However, none of them match up with exactly what you're trying to do. So in the end, you still end up doing more debugging than anything. A bulk of your, time is going to be for debugging. But the key thing is to get better and more efficient at debugging to where it becomes less time than it was before. But this is one of the least glamorous, I guess you'd say, but there's also some cool things you can do around debugging, and learning really does come from debugging your code and really learning why stuff is failing. But yeah, so the harsh truth number 3 that I'm going to speak about today is actually the communication skills and aspects of software engineering. These skills may be more important than the actual coding and skill itself in the real world. If you think about different things, let's say you want to do freelancing work or you want to work for yourself, you will need to not only be able to communicate, you'll need to wear different hats. But communication is a very important skill in that aspect of you have to get clients some way, and you have to talk to them about their project and what they want and what they need. You need to be able to explain things very simply to people who don't have a tech background. Non-tech people, essentially. And sometimes that can be very hard to take tech terms and make them very simple to understand, because as developers and engineers, we really like, things and discussing different paradigms and how we're optimizing this and optimizing that. At the end of the day, stakeholders do not care about any of that. they want their product or whatever you're building for them to work well, and preferably work as quickly as possible. How you do that, they really don't care, honestly. So communication is a very good key in taking requirements, understanding when someone says something in plain English, that you're able to interpret it and kind of know what needs to be done on the technical side. This is very important because this can, the better you are at it, can save you a lot of time in these instances, just because of the fact that if a customer or a stakeholder, if you're working in a company, says that they want something a certain way and you misinterpret that and you go and build this whole other thing and they had a different idea, then right there it's just going to cost you more time. You'll have to rework, you'll have to, whatever it may be, do things to completely start over. Who knows? That's why I've learned specifically communication skills are just as important as the coding, maybe even more important than the coding, because you can code away, but if you are consistently and constantly misinterpreting what's being said and getting requirements wrong, you can code those very well, but they are the wrong requirements. So it's very important to learn concepts and these different things and how to explain them in plain English, which is kind of why I made this channel, is to get better at that as well. But yeah, that is the third one. So there you have it. These are the 3 harsh truths that nobody really tells you up front about software engineering. You usually see the glamorous and, shiny parts of software engineering, which it is a very rewarding career. And all of these different things aren't something to, scare you away from software engineering. It's just things that I would like you to know that they are important things that you will be essentially required to, perform day to day. You will never be done learning. You will learn on a day to day. If you find yourself not learning anything new, that's probably a problem wherever you're at, especially in this field. Debugging is a very important part of software engineering. You'll have to do it. You'll have to think of edge cases. So that's something to look forward to. However, it can be very rewarding when you fix your, be able to fix a bug just like that, just because you've been through it so many times. Very rewarding. And also communication skills. Communication skills are so important, and it can actually lead you to landing other positions, just working with some really cool people, just because you're able to communicate in a way where you can express yourself and kind of connect on a human level and kind of not be this typical, what a lot of people see as a tech nerd that is just awkward and uptight and can't really express anything. So these are the 3 harsh truths. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any harsh truths of your own, leave them down in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. All right, love, peace, and chicken grease. I'll see you on the next video. I'm out.